My name's Tawasi. I'm a homeless resident of Corvallis. My address is 865 Northwest Ryman. I've been in front of your council a number of times. I've spoken with you at the shelter BIF. I appreciate you volunteering this winter. I spoke with you, Mark Shepard, when I first got to town about the issues relating to human rights violations that your laws exemplify. And I also recognize that it's typical of this body to vote unanimously to violate the rights of individuals who are homeless. So I'm not going to have high expectations. But what I did want to bring to your attention is the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The exclusionary zone that is being proposed violates that. It violates the Constitution. All citizens, whether foreign or domestic, have a right to travel unmolested under the Constitution. For you guys to consider an exclusionary zone is a violation of your oath of office. Plain and simple. Now, there are certain individuals in this room that feel like money buys influence, and looking at your voting record, I would say it does. So I want you guys to consider something that might be difficult for you, which is that the person, the actual person, has inalienable rights, and that your body doesn't get to decide what those rights are. There are greater bodies that exist beyond this room that have already established our rights go beyond what you're attempting to foist onto us. And I'm deeply disturbed that it could be even considered. And, you know, as I mentioned in my previous times here, the status quo for this room is that you guys pass the more draconian laws consistently. I've spoken with Penny Rourke, I've spoken with Carolyn Ellis. I try and talk to you guys about your oath of office, the importance of upholding rights of individuals, and the vitality of a free society that doesn't construe certain areas as being only for first-class citizens. Because when you create an exclusionary zone, what you do in essence is make a second-class citizen of everyone who gets excluded from that area. Now, someone earlier mentioned that the state has a sad history of exclusion laws. Your body represents that directly. And I try to always acknowledge at the beginning that this is stolen land, because this land was taken from the Chipinahua people at gunpoint. I just wanted to wrap up by saying that I appreciate you guys having an opportunity for public input, and I think it's important for all citizens to have equal footing in the community, and that there should not be a second-class citizen, a person who's deemed unsuitable for the downtown business area.
Thank you. Questions for Tawasi? Thank you. Other people who signed up on the white sheet?
We're signed up on the white sheet.
Come on up.
Dear Mayor and City Councilors, we are Clarissa Morin Freitas, and this is my colleague Rebecca Meistegger, and we are here representing Willamette Neighborhood Housing Services from Corvallis. We are here speaking on behalf of ourselves and our organization on an issue that will impact the budget and will cost more than $100,000 to fully implement in our city. We read our Imagine Corvallis 2040 statement when we were preparing for this testimony today, and the very first bullet point says that Corvallis supports and engages a changing population in a welcome community that accommodates all income and cultural groups and advances the well-being of all residents. What this tells us is that we are a community that strives to be compassionate, that understands the shared benefits of mutual support, and that cares for the well-being of our most vulnerable neighbors. We are here to speak against the proposed policy, the enhanced law enforcement area, that in our opinion will create an exclusionary zone in our city. We are worried that this policy will deeply impact people experiencing housing insecurity in our community. Our city is not unique in its struggle to deal with housing insecurity. In fact, the housing crisis is now affecting communities big and small, urban and rural across the state. But Corvallis can be unique in how we address this challenge. We can focus on harm reduction, we can be trauma-informed, and our money is better spent on prevention rather than punishment. These strategies align much better with our vision for our city. It is important to remember that the Corvallis Police recommended this policy based on data from the 25 top repeat offenders in our city. And yet, implementing this policy may have unintended consequences to the daily lives of the estimated 1,200 people experiencing housing insecurity in our city. This means that for each one of those top repeat offenders, we would be impacting another 47 of people's abilities to function in our community.
We urge you to remember that we are talking about fellow human beings here, with very real needs. This proposed exclusionary zone includes the public library, central transit station, many churches, several social service agencies, and a potential site for the homeless shelter, all of which are key to meet the needs of people experiencing housing insecurity. In practice, this policy will end up placing yet another barrier between vulnerable people and the services that they desperately need. And if people will be exempt from the exclusion, while accessing services they need on a daily basis, then what is the point of them being excluded in the first place? Finally, we would like to remind us that our decisions about policies like this shape the overall culture and environment of our city. An exclusionary zone sends a message that not all of our residents are welcome here, that not all of their needs will be met, that not everyone's well-being matters. It otherizes vulnerable groups rather than uniting us as a supportive community. Instead, we urge the City Council to collaborate with agencies and organizations currently serving people experiencing housing insecurity in our community. They are ready and willing to assist. Also, please reach out to the Housing Opportunity Action Council for policy recommendations. They have the expertise in dealing with housing insecurity in our community. Together, we can address any challenges in our community without causing an additional burden to people who are already struggling. Together, we can also help Corvallis live up to its vision of being a
Ms. Weinsteiger, are
supportive,
you wrapping up here?
engaging, and welcoming community to all of the residents.
Questions? Either?
Thank you.
Ms. Weinsteiger,